Good morning. Day number 60 of Bria Cafe construction. It's been a little bit of a challenging week, I think, but that's normal, right? Monday we kind of had to reassess our budget and see where we were still at.
Because we got an invoice from the construction company finally. Well, it was not finally, I say that. It was a third of several that we were expecting, but we had to look at the bank account and really, the Bria's bank account, and really see what we know that we had coming down the pipeline these next couple weeks of wrapping up, and what was actually in the account. So we had that, and then on Wednesday we had a email from our architect, which was a little bit shocking, but I think we were better adjusted this time, that basically they weren't going to be able to do half of our seating. So all the carpentry, which was the bench seating and the stadium seating, they said it would not fit inside the budget, basically. So that was a little challenging, but I think we handled it that day was okay,
pretty well. And then that evening we saw the architect on the street and stopped and talked. And then a stressful point was that it began to basically look like we were going to have to move the date for when the espresso machine was going to arrive again. And we didn't do so well with that one. We handled the stadium seating surprisingly well. But then that one was like, we got to move another date, another time. And that was pretty difficult, I think.
Yeah, very. In the moment, it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Friday, I had a hard conversation with our architect. I did primarily. And, we had a conversation via telephone that morning, and then a text conversation in the afternoon. And at this point, we just have to, we've talked about it, guys, so many days. But when you get down to the end, those that have had construction projects or works where you really just you're so excited and you want the work to finish, we're at that point because we're just so excited.
Yeah.
But we have
to start finalizing more details about when things are actually going to start.
Yeah.
So there becomes a little bit more pressure, I think, too, of okay, is this the date or is this the date? We need to know what those dates are. I think for us too, the hard part is that we've grown a lot, I think, in holding our own expectations lightly and understanding that we are not in control of the situation. But I think we're still struggling with trusting in what the expectations of other people are. So sending out the email and asking for more donations was difficult, I think. And then having to move the date and having to tell our distributor or roaster that once again, that's still challenging, I think. So we're still growing in that area to relinquish what others might or may not be expecting, or what we think they might be expecting, because those things also aren't in our control.
This week's lesson has been today's lesson, today and every day. But this week's especially has been about controlling a work, and especially in Spanish context, I specifically really came to a head and just learning that you can't push too much in Spanish culture. Otherwise, a lot of things are done on your behalf, behind the scenes, negotiated, that might not be communicated, but that if you really push contractually with people here, you could burn a lot of bridges. And it's hard because, that is a cultural difference for us.
There's a lot of verbal contracts.
A lot of verbal stuff and
if you let me do this, then I'll do this for you.
Yeah. In American legality, it's hard for me as a business person to be you don't make verbal agreements. That was law 101, do not get everything in writing, so contracts are a big deal. But here it's they do it for you. They know you, they like you, and so a lot of stuff is off book, and so they're doing what they can, but that means that they may not be able to meet deadlines, and so we have to step away and just be a little bit not so pushy. So this week we pushed a little too hard, me primarily, and it was a hard reaction. So
it'll be okay though.